I'm a businessman. So when they're talking about finding a businessman, I'm one of those. I'm the businessman that believed that this was a secret weapon and invested a lot of money to make sure that it happened for my city. And so they're right, I think, when they say go get a business person. And these sheets that they're handing out, I'm going to give them a few minutes to get around to you, but this has given me great clarity on our effort in Cincinnati. Some of the people you're hearing this week were the people that helped me start it in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is one of the cities that took it as far as any city in the world. We were very active. And there were 4 areas that we went after. Government, and we have one of our city officials with us this week. Phil Heimlich is going to speak to you tomorrow. And Phil is the commissioner for Hamilton County, Ohio, which contains Cincinnati. So Phil governs an area with about 1 million people in it. And there's 3 commissioners that govern Hamilton County, Ohio. At the time we started the Character Council, Phil was a city councilman for the city of Cincinnati. And Phil is the most influential Republican, in this case, official in the city of Cincinnati. And you're going to hear from him tomorrow. And after I came here to this center 3 times in a few months, I went back to Cincinnati and I decided I wanted my business owners in Cincinnati that were friends of mine to hear the message that you're hearing this week. And I have a lot of business owners as clients because I'm a life insurance guy that's pretty successful at it. And my clients own businesses. And so I on my own check, went back to Cincinnati and I rented a fancy room in a big hotel, very large room called the Hall of Mirrors. It has mirrors in that room that have gold backing of some kind, and the mirrors are worth millions of dollars. Remember that room, Larry? I don't know if you were at that. Is Ray Nash back here? Ray Nash is here. Yeah, have you spoken yet today, Ray, or is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. So Sheriff Nash helped us with our effort too. So I'll pull all that together for you and tell you how it worked. Larry, Phil, Sheriff Nash all helped us in Cincinnati. So this fabulous hall, and I think they said the mirrors were worth $7 million. We rented this hall. I did just as I wanted business owners to hear about what you're hearing. And I invited Tom Hill. Have they heard from Mr. Hill yet today? And Mr. Hill is the businessman that's behind all of this, that got it in his heart and funded this facility, et cetera. He won't share that himself, but Tom Hill's responsible for everything. And Tom Hill's responsible, I consider myself one of his plants that I've watched him, respected him, took it back to my city. We sent out a large number, I'm thinking I remember 10,000 invitations to come and hear these folks in our city, and I paid the bill. I think I charged $100. I'm forgetting kind of because it's 7 years ago. I think I charged $100 if you could afford it. If you can't afford it, just come. And there was over 100 business owners came that day and heard the message from Mr. Hill, and he brought Larry McAtee, who you might hear from this week. Is Larry speaking? We just came in, so I haven't heard of your whole calendar. And they came to Cincinnati, and they won the hearts of the city when we brought them to Cincinnati. And it wasn't very expensive. The $100 fee covered a great part of it, and then I covered a small part of it at the end. After that, there was so much enthusiasm in Cincinnati to do something that I called a few friends together, and I made a donation to Phil's campaign. Phil Heimlich, the politician you'll meet tomorrow. First time we met, he called me up, and I gave him a donation, and we had lunch together, and he said, "Is there anything on your heart that I should do for you?" And he was expecting me to ask for something from the government for business. And instead, I shoved all these materials at Phil, and I said, "Yeah, get this into our city." Is that correct, Phil? That's pretty much a recount of what happened. Phil's back there in the last row. Stand up for a second, Phil, so I can... There's Phil Heimlich, as I told you, the influential politician. And Ray, stand up too. Then Ray and I, we taught the whole police force. So I'm just trying to show you how one city worked. This is how one city got together. From there was 4 sectors, but businessmen were the ones with the money. Okay, and what what businessmen had on their heart was schools. But some of the biggest, wealthiest businessmen in our area, there's a company called Cintas. It's a uniform company. And Mr. Farmer's a billionaire. And Mr. Farmer gave us his facility, which is a fabulous company, to have meetings in Cincinnati. And they fed us breakfast at their expense. And there were other places, the Four Seasons workout facility. Everybody started chipping in. You want to come here with one of your meetings, and we'll set up all the audio-visual stuff. So businessmen are the key. And then 3 of my clients donated approximately $100,000 each over a period of years, and we bought 10,000 of these green books, 10,000 of them. And then we had educator seminar, and we had hundreds of teachers show up. And the public school system gave us the auditorium for free, the Cincinnati public school system. And all of a sudden, hundreds of classrooms were going. And this was very simple, really. We were running our businesses, but we just say, hey, we're having a teachers meeting, and instead of us trying to be the expert, we would fly in the expert, and we would donate the money to pay the expert. Ray for police officers. We had E.C. Gaffney, or one of the consultants here. E.C. used to be a consultant, I think, here, and one of the consultants here would come in and teach the teachers. A business can afford to pay, so they'll fly somebody in for business. And as consulting fees go, these are very inexpensive consulting fees. These were really reasonable. And we would have big rooms full of people, and 10,000 books we gave away at our expense. Well, this thing, we got free billboards from the billboard companies. We just went and asked, can we hang billboards on your empty billboards? They gave us free billboards. We got free printing. I never begged like this before, but free printing of the billboards. And then we went to the TV stations, and we said, can we have free commercials? So this thing got going. Well, Anthony Munoz is our most famous citizen. He's a big football player, star football player, Anthony Munoz. NFL Hall of Fame. 6'6", 280 pounds during his playing days. Huge man. Great man of character. So we asked Anthony, would you be our spokesman so we can have somebody famous on the commercials? Anthony said yes. So we stirred up all of this activity, and it was bigger than we ever meant it to be. Then we had full-time people. We hired Larry and Steve, his partner at the time, to come in and help us figure it out. Full-time employees. After a while, these notes on the back of this, I'm going to start following now and finish up very quickly, but I want to share with you the key things I took away. On the front side, this picture has been key to me, and I really stole this from Mr. McAtee when I came here, and I just adjusted it a little bit, but it really came from Mr. McAtee that you've heard from or you will hear from. And it's how I look at a person. This is the total package of a person, and it's 4 areas. Hard skills. You can build a building. You can hammer a nail. You can engineer a bridge. Those are hard skills. Mathematics, carpentry. Then there's soft skills. You can speak so people can understand you. You notice things. You're perceptive. Those are soft skills. You have good people skills. So you could have a Harvard-trained PhD in chemistry, top of their class. That's good hard skills. And they could actually speak English even though they were a chemist, or your language. So they had good soft skills. They were eloquent. And maybe that's my son that I'm describing. So I'm pretty proud of him. Fictional here.